So there's this gacha game that has been eating away at my time lately. It's called Honkai Impact 3rd. And yeah, no, this video has not been sponsored by them. Though I totally wish they would do that. Honkai, please sponsor me. Mihoyo, please, please. I need the extra waifus. Please, please, you don't understand. Please. Now, I'm not one to get addicted to games and gambling and spend thousands of dollars on pictures of waifus, but I really just wanted to direct your attention to this one game that I feel does the whole mobile game really well. And so there might be some more quality hentai, I mean you might enjoy it too, yeah. Now gacha games have been around for quite a while. Ever since smartphones began being able to show more pixels than just Snake, though even back then if you ask me, if you got the whole Snake long enough, sometimes he would just crash your phone. I have no footage of this, so you just have to take my word for it. It did happen, okay? It did happen, mod. The term gacha refers to, well, gambling. I honestly don't really understand the difference between gacha and gambling. The only one I know is that gacha is a trademark of Bandai, while the other one is just a word. Yeah, that's right. The difference is that one is a corporate term used in official business that makes companies thousands of dollars off of global teams, and the other one is gacha. So Honkai Impact 3rd used to be a phone exclusive game, but recently came out on PC as well. And while the port thus far has been, well, questionable in some areas, it's really not that bad. Especially not if you've played any of the Samurai Warriors games on the PC with those weird control schemes that require to have 3 hands in order to play. Like seriously. Yeah, WSD for movement, I, J and K for combat, and sometimes U? And then the mouse to control the camera? Was this game ported from the Splatoon universe? Or what kind of squid do you have to be to play this shit? Honkai isn't as bad as Samurai Warriors was, and fixes some of the problems by sometimes taking the camera out of your hands and oftentimes focusing on enemies that your character attacks. I know on the phone it was easier to move the camera and that they might change or improve it in the future, but that doesn't make it okay to port it like this. An alternative would have been to, you know, use the function of the one thing that the computer has over all other media, the mouse, you know, that little thing known as the mouse instead of JKL or whatever. Have the camera control with a mouse movement and use the functions of the mouse, like attacking to be one click, heavy attacking to be a hold click. You could use the ult on a right click and so on. I could spend time, precious time raging about this, but it's not that bad. And it's not what this video is about. No, but the fastest way to get started with how good the game is indeed the story. And on that note, I want to talk about someone. I want to tell you the story of Yae Sakura. Spoilers ahead. In a small village, the Shinto priest living there had 2 twin daughters, Sakura and Rin. Sakura was an energetic, happy girl, but Rin was sickly, and as a result, Sakura had to spend most of her days tending to her sister, and the girls grew up inseparable. The village was then struck with a year of drought, and the priest had decided to sacrifice Rin to appease his god. But upon finding out about this plan, Sakura was devastated and decided to try and escape from the village with her sister. But they were caught, and Sakura was forced to execute her sister for the ritual. It was that day that the demon, also known as the Herrscher of Hate, was awakened inside Sakura, and it forced her to relive the tragedy of her childhood over and over for 500 years. During that time, a ray of hope appeared for Sakura. She met the love of her life, Callan, but even this was stripped away from her, and she was forced apart from her lover because her body was still hosting the demon, and as a result, Sakura remained alone. Till one day, she comes across Theresa, dying from poison. She decides on a whim to try and save her, and well, I could say more, but if you are interested you can find out the ending of the story on your own. My point is that it is just one of many characters, each with their own tragic story, and the story of the game itself only gets darker with chapter 17 recently released as of the making of this video. Now would be a perfect time to jump in. But if gameplay is more your jam, however, then rest assured that there is a lot of stuff to be done inside the game. You got daily missions, PvE, VP dungeons, standalone boss fights, not to mention Chronicles, a place where you can experience the story of each individual Valkyrie, character trials, somewhere we can try out different characters and get different rewards for it, and Deep Archive, another challenging mode, might I say even more challenging than Direct C aka Singularis and Memorial Arena, and events out the behind. And yes, for those wondering, all the gameplay you have been seeing on the background is indeed from the same video game. The gameplay itself is also very fun, with almost every Valkyrie playing differently with its own combos and special abilities. Take my main girl and personal waifu, the thicker than a Snicker Durandal. And I'm sorry, Theresa Mains, I know you want people joining you in jail, but not today. She can use her basic attacks to fill a meter, using which then she can charge into the enemy, dealing high damage and becoming invincible to damage for the duration, and charges up her passive stacks. Each stack makes her deal even more damage. Then after she casts her ultimate, her charge turns into a rapid stab motion that instantly charges stacks of her passive and deal even more damage. I've used the word damage in this paragraph about as much as Trump uses the word China in an average conversation. Last, but certainly not least, I just wanted to show you how far you can get in this game without spending a dime. My account is level 72 and I own most of Valkyries, with equipment strong enough to handle most content the game has to throw my way. I can make it pretty far in the Memorial Arena and Singularis. I also recently spent most of my premium currency that you get for playing the game on an outfit for a Valkyrie I don't even own yet. So most content in this game can be obtained or played through without having to spend a single dime. Pause that thought, Axel from the future here. I just received word that MiHoYo, the company behind Honkai, is making a new game called Genshin Impact, which, from the footage shown in the background and what I heard from friends and reviews, looks to be one of the best MMOs that could come out this year. The game, in my opinion, will likely have calls and nods to Honkai, and the combat looks even similar in a lot of ways. So if you want to get a head start on this game, again, try out Honkai. I ended up re-recording segments of this video over and over until the very last second of me editing this video, because shit just comes out constantly. It came out as I was editing this video. Granted, I did take forever to edit this video. Speaking of this video, have you been listening to the music in the background? Most of it is gorgeous. Like, not even most of it, all of it was gorgeous. And like, all tracks that you were listening to, aside from one during the story segment, were all from Honkai Impact. They were all from Honkai Impact, and the music in this game is breathtaking. I started listening to it and looking for it to add to this video, and now I'm just listening to it as a pastime because it really is just that good. So just come in, play the game, spend some money if you're feeling feisty, but under no circumstance should you spend more than what you are feeling comfortable with spending, as I did not, and you shouldn't either. All in all, it's up to you if, after hearing what I had to say, decide to pick this game up. But if you do, don't come complaining to me after you break your J key.